Mark Ingram, absolute one of the all-time sucker bets in sports speculation history in the year of our Lord 2020.
Are you talking about redraft?
You predicting a long dynasty future for Mark Ingram?
Well, that's why I thought that you acting like his redraft value is not there. Is that what you're saying basically?
I've not taken him anywhere. Yeah.
All right. Think that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I do think that something has to give when you look at Ingram and Dobbins ADP. They're going very close to it. Like one of those is just massively, massively off. And so I just think something weird's going on that people are so willing to draft those guys at that. I think they both should probably drop a couple rounds in ADP.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think as we get closer to the season, I think Ingram's ADP will drop because people will become more aware of Dobbins. Basically, you're going to have more touts talking about it. I think his ADP will drop, but I also don't hate, like in the Scott Fish Bowl, Mark Ingram was almost a value. Like I almost drafted him as someone who was going to get a lot of carries. Yeah.
His average ADP was 65.2. So going at the top of the 6th round? Yeah.
Yeah. For teams that and he was available like in the 7th or 8th for us. So, just getting a guy that could be at the touchdown score.
Here's the thing. People are paying like, okay, Dave, you drafted Marlon Mack. What round did you get him?
10th or 11th.
10th, 11th round. So you're paying almost a 5 or 6 round premium just to have a piece of the Ravens offense when there's really no difference between Mark Ingram and Marlon Mack with the incoming rookie coming for them. They still have issues with not catching passes.
And Ingram is 34.
Yeah.
Right? He's old. He's not young. No, he's not 34.
He's like
Mark
31.
Ingram, age. He'll be 31 when the season starts.
Mark Ingram, Twitter audit, all paid followers.
All right. Pete, legit or bit?
Mark Ingram's ADP is a bit.
Okay. Tuttle?
I'll go with the bit side.
Yeah, I'll say slight bit. All right, Pete, what you got for a legit or bit?
Yeah, I'm going to keep on the running backs in this range who I think are being overdrafted. Cam Akers, ADP, legit or a bit. And guess I'll frame it in a slightly different way. Cam Akers and Zack Moss should have the same ADP, legit or a bit.
Bit. Oh, I'm so tilted. Such a bit.
You love Akers. It's such a bad take.
Why?
I do. I love Cam Akers.
Like
What,
Davis,
Dave?
go ahead and explain.
Yeah.
First off, he didn't run a 4.7. He didn't run a 4.740 at the combine, so he's got that going for him over Zack Moss. He plays for a team that 2 out of the 3 years the head coach has been coaching has targeted the running backs over 100 times. They didn't last year because Todd Gurley could no longer cut laterally up the field, and even in a timeshare with Darrell Henderson. Very similar to Ronald Jones, actually. I expect Akers to have value in the timeshare, but there's also just a chance that, some guys, Bishop Sankey style guys, like they literally just are never good enough to play in the NFL. And Henderson might be one of those guys.
All right.
Do you guys remember who was on Zack Moss before being on Zack Moss was cool?
Was that you?
I believe I drafted him in our draft.
Our rookie draft.
Yeah,
You're right.
I believe I had him in our rookie draft, and everybody was giving me crap
people
for him.
didn't
And
even know
then
who he
Adam
was.
Levitan comes out and starts touting him, and then it's all cool.
It is funny. I keep waiting for people to cite the 4-man Swolecast draft as the Zack Moss,
Industry, like the industry thought leader for Zack Moss. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Zack Moss, Peter and I both got him in the 12th round. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something I can't get on board. I mean, in the 12th round is fine, but Crane and Pete are in, big Zack Moss. Like they're in the pocket of big Zack Moss, and I do not agree.
Again, okay, whatever. I'm over it. I don't like arguing about football.
You do when it's the DMs. You just can't let your brand be tarnished by seriously discussing Zack Moss's role in Buffalo on a podcast.
It's true.
Okay. Tuttle?
Legit or a bit, Jerick McKinnon is in the best shape of his life.
Ooh.
Legit, dude.
Every single offseason.
I don't know if it's legit, but I do think that like he is a legit good 0 RB end of the round or end of the draft candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never like, it's going to take a lot for me to fade Jerick McKinnon. Like the only time I think I faded Jerick McKinnon is last year when he had like a 3rd round ADP. And I'm like, okay, that's probably too high. And then of course he tore his ACL, but every other year I'm like a believer. This guy has had the chips stacked against him his whole life. He's got the LT comparison as far as athletic profile. I mean, why not? Why not in this San Francisco offense?
Who are you comparing to LaDainian Tomlinson? I just passed out.
Welcome to the conversation. Jerick McKinnon.
I want to get in on the McKinnon love. He's insanely cheap, and we see this scenario play out with backfields like the Patriots and the 49ers, where they have good running games, and they are not afraid to shuffle up the depth chart on a moment's notice. You know, we saw Matt Breida get relegated so quickly to the doghouse last year, and all of a sudden Tevin Coleman became a thing. It's been a trope for years when Brady was in New England. You just take the cheapest running back, and it's the best proposition for turning a profit. I don't know why we aren't viewing the 49ers backfield similarly. Like, people are paying a premium for Mostert, which is ridiculous. Coleman is a pricey 0 running back target, but McKinnon is free. And to Dave's point, he's a freak. He's so talented. It's always just, is he going to stay healthy? But there's no cost to pick him and find out.
All right, guys, we've got a theme going, and I'm just going to keep it going. And I'm not going to talk about Keyshawn Vaughn or Derrick Henry. It's going to be the guy who is in the middle ADP-wise of Mark Ingram and Zack Moss. And that is a Mr. Derrius Guice. Legit or bit? Pete, you just gave me the gross face right now.
I have never been a Derrius Guice guy. I think it's a bit. I like Antonio Gibson. I'd rather play that backfield cheap. That said, he is starting to fall in drafts. Like in our FFPC draft that Pat and I are doing, he went in the 8th or 9th round, to the point where Pat and I were like, we might actually have to consider this. So he is falling into that 0 RB target range, but he's not my guy.
Kitchen, if you had to guess the last game in which Derrius Guice played over 50% of his team snaps, at what year would you have guessed that took place in?
I mean, I would be guessing his junior year at LSU.
Yeah, the last time it happened was in December of 2018. So,
but he was very good there in December of 2018. He's a guy that just had a couple bad injuries, and now you can get him on the cheap. The only issue is that he's fighting. You can't get him on the cheap.
You can get McKinnon cheap. You have to Derrius Guice is going ahead of Phillip Lindsay, who is unilaterally the better pick.
No,
all right.
Dave's been grinding those Guice workout videos. Does anyone have a better workout video promoter than Derrius Guice? I mean,
every offseason with this guy.
It's just if he can stay healthy, he is away. Davis, if your take is, I don't like him because I think he might be injury prone, right?
I don't think he's injury prone. I just think he legitimately is not healthy.
Yeah. All right. But if he is healthy, you would still take Derek Lindsey over Guice. Is that what you're saying? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. That's a bit right now.
I just had to think about it for a second, but yeah, I mean, I don't even have Guice projected for that meaningful of a workload without projecting him for injury already.
And the other thing about Guice is, first of all, Adrian Peterson's still there, and the team is more than willing to give him carries. Bryce Love is still there, who the team continues to talk up. And then they draft Antonio Gibson, who is going
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Who else am I missing? Oh, Antonio Gibson is going to catch the passes. So I don't see the path to a Guice, workhorse role in that offense.
They also signed Peyton Barber. They also signed JD McKissick. All they have 6 running backs on the roster right now.
Okay,
5 of which
they're not going to kip all 6 running backs though. So yeah, call me a Guice truther. It didn't work out. For me last year.
What bet can we make on Guice? What can we get
Lindsey
down?
Guice Lindsey bet is a fine one for me.
Okay,
so
booked 25.
Over under
Done.
number of weeks David plays Derrius Guice on DraftKings.
I mean,
it
all
depends
16 of them if he's
on what
healthy.
his salary is, but
he's a better play on FanDuel.
The touchdowns.